Yo, what's up my brother, what's up my sister? This is your boy Ntege again with yet another amazing video. If you struggle with editing outdoor pictures and getting the best out of these pictures, watch this video till the end because I'm going to show you how to bring that glamour feel, that high-end feel into an outdoor image. Now, this particular image was shot with a 6D Canon and it was shot with natural light. No reflectors, no nothing. In this particular video, I'm going to show you how to make it glamorous and all the way through. Oh, by the way, I have a masterclass that is going on right now. If you want to enroll and join the high-end retouching secrets masterclass, click the first link in the description below and then join right now. So this is what we're going to do right here. Now we're going to first work onto the camera raw filter. Now in the camera raw filter, we're going to put the exposures right, we're going to put the contrasts right, and also we're going to add in a bit of coloring. Basically, we're going to have the general outlook of the whole image in this camera raw filter. So we're going to come here into exposure. When you look at it, it is a bit underexposed. So I'll come and pump up the exposure just a little bit so that I get it brighter. Remember, I want to make it glamorous. Then I'm going to come and punch down the highlights here so that I get some bit of detail back in the highlight zone. Then the next thing, I'm going to come and try enhancing these shadows just a little bit, just like that, to give it that kind of feel. Now I don't want it to have this HDR look to it, like that where you have every detail being showed in every particular piece. So what I'm going to do, I usually come and crush down the blacks just a little bit, just like that right there. And then the next thing I'm going to do right now, I'm going to pump up the clarity just a little bit and put it around to around a +8, let me keep it around there. Then vibrancy, of course, I'll just come and punch the vibrancy just a little bit. Then saturation, of course, I usually love my pictures popping, so I'll just come here and do the saturation bit. The next thing I'm going to do right now, I'm now just going to come here and give it mode using this curve panel. So I'll just come and still pump up the highlights just like that so that I get the highlights pop. Then in the shadow zone, I'll just come and still crush like the shadows just a little bit to avoid that HDR look. I love having a huge contrast between the highlights and the shadows so that I get the image really looking, you know, having that contrasty kind of feel. So the next thing I'm going to do, I'm now just going to work onto the sharpening bit. So how do I do it? I press Alt on my keyboard and then I get onto the mask panel right here. Once I press Alt down and I drag here, now everything you see that is in white that's where the sharpening is going to happen. So I just want sharpening on the edges and on the parts of the skin, not in the sky. I don't want the sharpness to be there. So I'll just push it just a little bit. I just want the sharpness on the edges and in the certain parts of the skin, maybe the cheekbones, and that is how I do it. So I push it around there. So when I apply the sharpness and add in more sharpness, the effect is only applied to these white areas you see here, just like that. Okay, because I'm trying to get a feel where I don't have that kind of grainy feel that tends to come when you're editing camera raw photos. You ever edit camera raw photos and realize you have that grainy feel? It's because you've not touched this mask panel. So the next thing I'm going to do, I'm just going to come here and then remove colored noise. When you zoom in this image, you realize it has that RGB kind of noise actually in the black zones. So this is where I come and do this and just pump this forward so that I get all that inky kind of feel removed from the whole image. So the next thing I'm going to do right now, I don't touch the luminancy. I only touch the luminancy if I know I'm going to edit this particular picture, maybe in I don't want to take it so much in Photoshop, because what luminancy does, it smoothens the skin, it softens the skin. See how it does? And I don't want to have that kind of thing in the whole image, so I want to work on the skin in Photoshop. So the next thing I'm going to do right now, usually I come here and work onto the color mixing bit. Now here I don't touch the hues unless I really want to change the feel and vibe. Here what I'm going to do, I'm just going to come and add in a little bit of saturation in the blues so that I get, since her skin is going to be in the warm tones and I have a lot of yellows there, so I'm just going to come and pump up just the blues, just to get that opposite effect of the whole of colors. Then for the warm tones, I'll go work on them in Photoshop. So the next here I don't touch. So the next thing I come into now here into the profiles. Now into the profiles here, I come and say remove chromatic aberration. Now if you're using a lens that is not very expensive, usually you realize you get some kind of, now this is chromatic aberration. You see these green lines, these ones here over the edges, these ones. Yeah, now this is where I want your maximum attention. First, leave whatever you're doing and look here. You see these purple linings. Now this is chromatic aberration. If the lens you're using is not very expensive, if it's cheap glass, definitely it usually gets this chromatic aberration. So how do you do that? You click here and say remove. You see how it has reduced. So if you want to reduce it, you look, it is green, so you can just come and increase the green over here so that it gets lost completely. See how beautiful that is. Look at this. That's the before, that's the after. I don't know whether you're able to see it on your screen, but look at this. That's the before and that's the after. This one gives it a cleaner kind of feel. So the next thing I'm going to do, here I'm not going to add any grain. I'm now going to come here into now calibration. Now calibration is also another way you can also color grade your images. So here I just come and touch onto this particular knob where I just want to create that orange and teal vibe. You remember I want to make this image pop, so I'll just come and enhance the skin to give it more warm tones, just like that, and then maybe add in a bit of saturation. Now this is a preference basically, so I'll just come and increase just the saturation a little bit so that I get the effect more intense, just like that. So I think that's that with the camera raw filter. So the next thing I'm going to do right now, I'm just going to open the image in Photoshop, just like that. So now we're in Photoshop. So in Photoshop, I'm going to use the dynamic actions pack. Now, what is the dynamic actions pack? Now, this is a personal action pack that I use when I'm editing my portraits. Actually, if you want to get it for free, click the first link, click the second link in the description below and get the dynamic actions pack so that you can use it on your pictures as well. So again, just to remind you, you can get all these lessons and more in the Retouching Secrets Masterclass. It is available at only $57. It's a one-time special offer. I don't know what time you're watching this video, when you're watching this video, whether it's still the same price, but go there right now and enroll right now and become a super great retoucher by next Friday. I want you to improve the quality of your images. I want you to make more money. I want you to attract high-paying customers, and the only way you can do that is if you master this technique of high-end retouching. So go there and then enroll for the masterclass right now. So the next thing we are going to do, I'm just now going to come into the frequency separation actions. Now this picture was shot with a 24 megapixel camera. Actually, that was shot with a Canon 6D. So I have an action pack here called, so you come into that dynamic after installing them, the dynamic actions pack. You come here and then you look for the 24 beauty, yeah, and then you click play. So you still come. The good thing with these actions, they pause and then you come and adjust according. So I'll just come and blur these out just a little bit until I don't see the skin texture anymore, just like that. Then the next thing I'm going to do, I'm just going to still come here and just say okay. So here I'll just come here and say linear light, just like that. Now we are done with the frequency separation. Now let me just for the sake of your understanding, I'm just going to rename this color and I'm going to rename this texture. So if you're new to this channel, if you don't know what frequency separation is, frequency separation basically is the retouching technique we use when we are editing, where you separate the textures of an image from the colors of an image. So what we have, the colors are in the bottom layer and the textures are on the top layer. So we're going to work on the textures of the images independently and the colors of the image independently as well. So this one gives us flexibility in a way of editing, whereby you don't tend to over edit the image in a way that it loses all the details. We still love the details. So ready? let's get into this already. So I'm just going to come here and click onto the texture layer, working on the textures first. I'll create a simple black and white layer, just a help layer. So I'll just crush the reds so that I get the pimples more exposed, and then I'll just come with this, with my tool, with my spot healing tool, like that, leave the hardness in, and I'll just come and begin editing the texture, editing actually the pimples out. It's as simple as that, like that. You can use actually any tool to edit all this stuff, but basically it's really that simple. You don't have to. So just like that, edit all these flyaway hair in the texture layer. You know, if we had time, I would show you even how to edit this hair and you straighten it up. But if you go into the Retouching Secrets Masterclass, I really go into these details. I can't really do a very, very long YouTube video. But in the Retouching Secrets Masterclass, which you can have lifetime access to, by the way, I give these details in. I give you all these details. Actually, for those of you who have enrolled, I see you tag me in your images. I'm seeing great improvement, guys. Keep up the good work, continue practicing, and man, at the end of the day, we all want to make money. I want you to make money out of your business. I want you to serve the people that you're meant to serve. So I think I won't go into further details into editing the texture. So the next thing I'm going to do, I'm now just going to work now on the color texture. So how do we do that? Now you make sure the feather is at around 13, or depending on the size of the image. If the image is very, very big, you can even use 35, but this image is not so big. So I'll just come here and then make a selection here around the cheekbone area, then come into filter and say blur. I say Gaussian blur. So I'll just come and, you know, just yeah, bring the textures. I'll still come here, still do the same thing, and press Ctrl Alt F to repeat the same action. I'll come here and then repeat the same action. Same applies to here. So basically I just go on working and making sure the colors in the bottom layer are all, you know, like that. So I'll just come back to the texture layer and remove this freckle. This is a question of taste. Some people don't want them there, some don't want them there. So I just come and remove. If we really had time, I would go into details of editing everything, but I don't want the video to be so long. Yeah. So I think now you see we have now worked onto, I'll put this in a group. So I'm going to come and delete this first. So I'll put this in the group so that we look at where we've come from. Now look at this. That's the before and that's the after, before and after. So the next thing I'm going to do right now, I'm just going to do some burning and dodging. So you just come here and click the burning and dodging layer, and then you click play. So what we are going to do right now, we're just going to do some burning and dodging. Now what we do, you just come, get your brush, and then reduce the flow, and then we are going to burn. So the next thing, you just come, make sure it is white that is on top, and then you chisel her. I'll come and reduce the flat put it to 2 because I don't want it to be just burn all around the image, so that I bracket it in. I'll also come and do some nose contouring all around there. Still, I'll come right there, there. I'll come also here, and then I do some dodging now into the nose. I keep on the nose contour, just come and highlight the cheekbone area, highlight this, the chin, highlight that, do some highlights over the hair, you know, to the neck area. Basically, I'm just doing what makeup artists would do to create more depth in the whole image. Let's look at the before and after. Now, that's the before, that's the after. Before and after. Now, we need also to burn this area as well. This one here. So that we chisel it all in. Like that. So, now, the next thing I'm going to do, I'm just going to come and do what we call eye whitening, like that. Just play eye whitening. So I'll just come here and get this and just paint over, of course, with white, like that. Also, come and do the same to the teeth. I don't want the all of it to be that. So the next thing now I'm going to do, I'm just going to work on to the eye presence. Now, when you look at her eyes, because we did not have any flash, her eyes are meant to be a bit brown or a very dark gray shade. But for some reason, because we did not have flash into the whole camera, they don't feel present. So how do we create eye presence? You come and click onto the eye presence panel just here, and then you just say continue. And then what we're going to do, you just come and press Ctrl I to invert. Then you get your brush tool here, and then we're just going to come and paint through. Oh, we make sure white is selected. So you come and paint through just like that, so that you bring more presence into the eyes. Then you're going to come with the brush tool again, put back the hardness into the whole brush, then reduce the brush, and then just make sure black is selected on top, and then just paint back this part so that you bring back the pupil, just like that. So now her eyes are more present. Look at this. That's the before and that's the after. Now, even if you did not have those strobes, those flashes, with such eyes that are improved, definitely you're destined to have a very nice image. Let me just take a sip of water. And basically, the next thing now I'm going to do, now this is a preference. I have different colors you can use here into. There is this one that we can use color corrections. There is this one that is called vibrancy, but we are going to use Glamour Colors. So I'm just going to come here into Glamour Colors and just play. And then voila, look at what we have. Now, when you look at it, it has somehow destroyed the filter. So I just want to know the filter that has really destroyed the whole of the black, and I think it may be the vibrancy knob. This one here, is it? Let's see. No, it's not. So I'll try the selective color. Is it the one? I don't think so. Gradient map. No. What is it? Is it curves? No. Vibrancy? Don't tell me it's levels that has done this. Oh, it's the levels. So what we're going to do, I'm just going to come and reduce the opacity of the levels. Then I'm also going to come, when you look at it, it has a little bit of too much of magenta. So I'm just going to come into the selective color option here, just right here, and double click. So first of all, I'm just going to come into the blacks and change, remove the magenta just a little bit, and oops, okay, sorry. Before I go into get into the blacks to remove the magenta, let me first work on the neutrals. So in the neutrals, what I'm going to do, I'm just going to come and cut down on the magenta so that I get this black somehow match. Not so much like that. So I'll just come also put in a bit of cyan so that I remove that red color cast that is all over the whole thing, just like that. So the next thing I'm going to do, I'm just now going to work on the reds. Now on the reds, I'm just going to come and put in just a little bit of magenta, since we need a color that can compete with the So I'll just come again and add in a bit of yellow. So for the blacks, I'll just come just add in just a little bit of that. So let us look at, let me just put this in a group, actually all of these, and I'll just look at the before and look at the after. I mean, isn't that amazing? So the next thing we're going to do right now, I'm just going to create a different layer mask. I just want to work onto the face so that I make it more pop. Okay, so I will just come here and say curves, and then I'll just come and just pump it up, and then just kill like the shadows a bit down so that I get that pop kind of feel. But the problem is I don't want that part to be contrast. I still want to have that kind of feel. So I'm just going to press Ctrl I to invert the layer. So I'm just going to come with here with my brush, and what I'm going to do, I'm just going to come and paint white all over here so that I get the face pop. Now, even if you've not used strobes or lights, with this technique here, you'll definitely have the face brighter than anything else. So the last thing I'm going to do, I'm now just going to sharpen the whole image. So I'm just going to come here, press Ctrl or Command Shift Alt and E, and then you're just going to come and say linear light. This is the quick way of sharpening images. Then you say comes other, you say high pass, and then we shall put it in like I think 0.8 is enough for me, just like that. So we've added in a bit of sharpening. Let me just zoom it in so that you get a feel of what I'm talking about. That is the before, the sharpening, and that is the after. Now what I'm going to do, I'm just going to come and cut down on the opacity of this sharpening. It is too much for my taste. Yeah, so I'll just come and cut it down just a little bit. Then the next thing I'm going to do, I'm just going to create actually a stamp again. How do I do that? I just press Ctrl Alt Shift and E. If you're on the Mac, you press Command Option Shift and E, and then you come and crop. You know that clever way of cropping. When you look, the line of horizon is bent, and so what we are going to do, I'm just going to crop it in let me crop it in a 4x5 dimension so that I crop it for Instagram. So I'll just come and just turn it all around. So how am I gauging? I'm looking at these lines here. I want to make sure this line is parallel to the edge. So I'll just come and just put it around there. So it's not that straight enough. So I just want the buildings to be like that. And then I'll say, okay. But when you look at it here now, we've lost details here. So what do I do with this? I just come here and say select all around, and then say filter, fill, then I say content aware, and automatically it will all just be filled out. Now that's how you do images that are shot outdoor with natural light. Hope you've loved this video. If you've not yet subscribed to this channel, hey, take a minute, subscribe to this channel, turn on notifications so that you don't miss my next amazing tutorial, because I'm going to amaze you in the next one. I'll see you in the next end. Adios.